Now at 5, what Missouri Democrats can expect ahead of next week's presidential primary. Plus, volunteers in Baxter Springs take part in a community cleanup, and
a judge overseeing the 2020 election interference case in Georgia makes a decision on whether or not prosecutor Fani Willis can stay on the case. I'm Willie James Inman in Washington with details.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Authorities in St. Louis arrest 2 more men in connection with an Independence, Kansas homicide. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. U.S. Marshals and the St. Louis County Police Department arrested 21-year-old Joshua Denton and 18-year-old Kavion Williams, both of St. Louis. Both men face charges of first-degree murder and aggravated robbery. They are the 4th and 5th suspects in the October shooting death of Jason York in Independence, Kansas. The other 3 suspects were arrested last month. They are 37-year-old Kevin Quinn, 20-year-old Aquin Quinn, and 23-year-old Kevin Martin, all of St. Louis. They also face charges of first-degree murder and aggravated robbery. Nice weather out there overall. Let's check in with meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney.
Yeah, temperatures today up in the 60s, so we're about average, maybe a little bit above for this time of year. We are starting that trend of warming up as we're getting closer to spring season, severe weather season. We're going to see a lot of back and forth as we have more thunderstorms, but across the region right now, temperatures are in the low 60s. Our low tonight's getting down to the 40s, low 40s, but the humidity is also pretty low. In most of our region, it's about 35% or less, and that means we could experience some fire weather. However, we don't have fast winds. And the drought tracker, we did get a lot of rain last week, so we're starting to see the drought kind of get a little bit better in our area. And I have more rain details up next.
See you soon. Baxter Springs, Kansas residents took some time today to clean up their community in this nice weather. The volunteers spent the afternoon picking up trash along the highway north of town. Officials say it's a great way to get the community involved in the beautification of Baxter Springs.
Well, I am one of the natives of Baxter Springs who have always loved this town. And we remember when it was perfect and beautiful, and we are in a beautification effort again. I'm from a team called All Roads Lead to Baxter Springs.
Bagcraft donated trash bags and gloves for the volunteers to use. City workers then collected the bags and hauled them to the dump. We're just 1 week away from the Democratic presidential primary election in Missouri. This comes after Missouri representatives failed to implement the presidential preferences primaries that voters are used to. Individual parties were left to hold their own process for finding a presidential nominee. A Republican caucus was held earlier this month where former President Donald Trump was nominated in Missouri. In-person voting for the Democratic primary is March 23rd.
Missouri Democratic Party opted to instead hold a presidential primary like we normally would. We did a mail-in ballot form and we're doing an in-person one. The mail-in ballot time has passed. The in-person is on the 23rd of this month though, March 23rd. From 8 a.m. to noon.
You can find more information about this year's election season and polling locations on our website, koamnewsnow.com/elections. The judge presiding over former President Trump's election interference case in Georgia said it can move forward with District Attorney Fani Willis if the special prosecutor she had a romantic relationship steps aside. He did just that this afternoon, submitting his resignation. As Willie James Inman explains, the judge says that relationship has given the case the appearance of impropriety.
Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis will continue to prosecute former President Donald Trump's election interference case in Georgia. The special prosecutor, her former romantic partner Nathan Wade, will be leaving the case. After Judge Scott McAfee ruled only one of them can stay. In his 23-page decision, McAfee said he did not find a clear conflict of interest, but criticized Willis for a tremendous lapse in judgment.
The appearance of impropriety, let alone an actual conflict of interest, is taught to every prosecutor. This is a woman who acted without thinking.
In a statement, former President Donald Trump's attorney disagreed with the judge's decision and vowed to use all legal options available to dismiss the case. 18 others are also charged in the case. 4 have pleaded guilty, including Kenneth Chesborough. His former attorney expects the defendants will appeal.
For all of the defendants in this case, I'm sure it's a sad day because it really just shows that while if they make mistakes, they might get prosecuted for it. If Fani Willis and her team make mistakes, if they lie under oath, if they show bad judgment, there's absolutely no consequences.
The ruling comes days after the judge dismissed 3 of 13 counts against Trump in the indictment. But the case remains intact for now, one of 4 criminal cases the former president faces as he tries to unseat President Biden. Willie James Inman, CBS News, Washington.
Donald Trump is due to stand trial in New York later this month on charges related to hush money paid to a porn star. His attorneys have requested a delay to the start of that trial, and the prosecutor has agreed to 30 days, but there's been no ruling yet. The U.S. Supreme Court ruled today public officials can block people on social media in certain circumstances. It tossed aside challenges against local government officials in Michigan and California who blocked followers who were critical of them on Facebook. In a unanimous opinion, the High Court set a clearer standard for when public officials are state actors online. The ruling also outlines when those officials can have more control over their social media presence. A jury in Michigan has convicted Ethan Crumley's father of involuntary manslaughter a little more than 2 years after his son murdered 4 students at Oxford High School. It comes just a month after his wife Jennifer was convicted of the same charges. Even though their son carried out the attack, prosecutors argued both parents caused this school shooting by failing to properly store the gun he used. Still ahead, raising awareness of long-term symptoms.
A new study estimates millions of children are suffering from long COVID. I'm Michael George with what we know and don't know about this illness.
Plus, how a new blood test could be a game changer in the fight against colon cancer. Topping today's Health Watch, there's a potential game changer in the fight against colon cancer. A promising study published in the New England Journal of Medicine found a new blood test is able to detect 83% of colon cancer tumors. Colon cancer is the second leading cause of cancer-related deaths in the U.S. On CBS Morning, CBS Chief Medical Correspondent Dr. John LaPook, who specializes in gastroenterology, called the blood test potentially a big deal because of its ease, but had concerns.
I was a little disappointed that only about 2/3, 11 of 17 patients who had the stage 1, the very earliest, were picked up. Still, something is better than nothing. It still remains to be seen whether or not, how widely this is going to be used, how expensive is it going to be.
The FDA is considering whether to approve that blood test. A study in the Lancet Neurology finds neurological conditions affect 3.4 billion people in 2021. The biggest contributors included stroke, migraine, Alzheimer's and other dementias, and diabetic neuropathy, the fastest growing of all neurological conditions. The analysis says it all amounted to the loss of 443 million years of healthy life. March 15th is Long COVID Awareness Day. A recent study estimates millions of children are suffering from long COVID. Children. Michael George has more on why we still know so little about the illness and one mother's search for answers.
Amanda Goodhart says her 6-year-old son Logan caught COVID multiple times, but even months later, his symptoms just didn't get better.
To see him just struggle to stay awake or, crying and saying he just doesn't feel good, it's heartbreaking. It's demoralizing.
A new study at the NYU Grossman School of Medicine estimates up to 5.8 million young people have long COVID. Study author Dr. Rachel Gross says one major challenge in tracking the illness is that symptoms can vary.
Long COVID can look different in different children, that not everybody has the same symptoms, and that it can look different depending on when the symptoms start.
Common long COVID symptoms include headache, loss of taste and smell, brain fog, and pain. Logan has also been dealing with circulatory and GI problems, and he gets tired even from things like standing in line. His mom says they've tried multiple treatments with only moderate improvement.
It's terrible. There's nothing worse than, seeing your child go through something that you can't fix.
The research also shows long COVID can raise the chances of a child developing type 1 diabetes, and it can even be deadly, leading to multi-system inflammatory syndrome in children.
This study was urgently needed because there are so many questions that need to be answered about pediatric long COVID.
The Goodharts hope more attention is given to studying long COVID so more effective treatments can be found. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Now, most children with long COVID recover over several months, but about a third experience symptoms even 1 year later. A report from the CDC finds multi-system inflammatory syndrome in children is occurring at dramatically lower rates compared to early in the pandemic. MISC is a rare but serious illness associated with COVID-19. Most cases in 2023 occurred in unvaccinated children or those whose immunity had decreased over time. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, a new study shines light on the harmful impacts of toxic chemicals in everyday plastics.
And the rain has finally cleared out of here, but we'll have all the details for your upcoming forecast after the break. Well, we got some severe weather yesterday, but it has cleared out of here. We had a chillier day today with temperatures still in the low 60s, although with a northerly breeze, it was a bit chillier. Taking a look at our Indigo Sky Casino and Resort camera, it's pretty nice though. We do see some clouds. Winds have died down, but we're looking for a pretty nice weekend ahead. We don't see any kind of rain on the forecast until midweek next week, and we can thank this cutoff low. It's just sitting over there, kind of holding all that rain back in California and Arizona, so we won't see anything until midweek next week. Temperatures tonight, it's going to be pretty clear, dropping down to about 43, 44 for our overnight low. So a bit chillier, but not as cold as we'd have before. Now we'll take a closer look at this low. So what it's doing, it's cut off from this upper level flow, and it's just sitting over there. So it's going to keep rotating until it is able to join back up with the flow, and then we'll get some of that rain. But you can see this secondary low sitting up here in Canada, making its way all the way through New York, giving them some rain, and we're sitting right here. So we're just getting kind of the lower end of this low, which is not going to bring us any kind of rain. And then we're waiting to see when this decides to join back up. And once that happens, it'll start to rotate through our area, and that's when we're going to get that rain. But that's not happening for another few days, not until about Wednesday next week, which is when we're going to start to see some rain showers. We're going to have a lot of rain chances after Wednesday, so be prepared. Enjoy the next few days. Our temperature trend started off on 78. We are cooling off for the next few days, getting down to 64 today, and tomorrow a little bit lower than that. By early next week, we'll probably be in the 50s, so it's a bit chillier, but it's going to be sunny, no rain, so it'll be pretty nice. Tomorrow by noon, we're going to get up to about 60 degrees. It's pretty nice. And then this weekend, sunny and about 67, 68 for our high on Saturday. It will be cooler on Sunday, dropping about 10 degrees down to about 57. Clouds do increase, but it's not going to be completely overcast. It'll be still pretty nice for your St. Patrick's Day affairs, and I hope everyone enjoys it and stays safe out there. So, like I said, pretty chilly for the next couple of days, dropping down to about 31 for our overnight low on Sunday. Monday getting up to 52. We'll start to warm back up after that. Tuesday 68. So it'll be sunny all the way until Wednesday. We have some showers rolling in pretty late on Wednesday into Thursday morning. So we'll have showers and thunderstorm chances on Thursday. Friday, Saturday, mostly just scattered showers. Saturday, most of the day will be pretty clear. We'll have some showers coming in pretty late. And then Sunday and Monday, pretty consistent showers throughout those 2 days. So like I said, a lot of rain chances.
Yeah, that's spring, sun and rain. Things are growing, things are greening up, and I guess just in time for St. Patrick's Day.
I got to get a lawnmower.
Yes, if you don't have one, you'll need it soon.
Yes.
For sure. Thanks, Lindsay. Coming up, why Dollar General is getting rid of self-checkout stalls at thousands of its locations. Topping today's Consumer Watch, Dollar General is the latest retailer to back away from self-checkout registers. The discount chain is removing self-checkout stands in its 300 stores with the highest rates of shoplifting and losses. In 9,000 stores, some or all self-checkout registers will be converted to regular registers with cashiers. And in about 4,500 stores, self-checkout purchases will be limited to 5 items or fewer. The FCC is cracking down on cable TV junk fees. The FCC yesterday said cable and satellite companies will now be required to list all-in prices in billings and marketing materials. It also includes any miscellaneous fees like those related to sports programming or local broadcast channels. The federal government wants consumers to know upfront exactly how much they're going to pay for services. We all know about the harmful effects plastic pollution can have on the environment, but a new study reveals a surprising number of toxic chemicals in plastics that could also be hazardous to our health. Tina Kraus reports.
In a world craving convenience, the prevalence of plastic is unprecedented, and a new report reveals the hidden dangers lurking inside.
These materials, they look really shiny and nice and colorful and simple, but chemically they're quite complex.
European scientists compiled a list of over 16,000 chemicals found in plastic products, at least 3,000 more than international environment agencies had estimated. Researchers discovered more than 4,000 of the chemicals are toxic, not only to the environment, but to our health.
The point is that these chemicals can leach from the product into the food, so from packaging into food. And when that leaching happens, people ingest these chemicals with their food.
Toxicologists say hundreds or even thousands of chemicals can be found in a single plastic product, from food packaging to children's toys to medical devices.
These are materials that have been in use for 60, 70 years. They power our economy. They enable a lot of successful business models, but they come with a high price tag.
While some countries, including the U.S., regulate chemicals used in plastic, other nations don't.
In order to robustly solve plastic pollution, you actually have to look at the full life cycle of plastics, and you have to address the chemicals issue.
Another push for progress as global plastic pollution mounts, with about 400 million tons piling up every year. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
The research known as the PlastChem report was released this week ahead of the next round of negotiations for a United Nations Treaty on Worldwide Plastic Pollution. Final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, Steve Hartman takes us on the road to a school where the kids are suddenly embracing dressing up. Then on KOIM News at 6, we're going to have more on what Democratic voters in Missouri can expect in next week's primary. Plus, students in McDonald County, Missouri plant 10,000 seedlings in their school greenhouse. And it's a rivalry game in Pittsburgh as the Gorillas square off against the Missouri Southern Lions on the baseball diamond, with each team boasting 7-game win streaks. Yeah, something's going to have to break. Stay with us. CBS Evening News and KOIM News at 6. The Easter Bunny is going to soon make his way to the 4 states, of course, and elsewhere, delivering candy. So the CandyStore.com is out with its list of the top Easter candies in each state. Cadbury mini eggs. Those mini eggs, they top the overall list, and in Arkansas. But the rest of the 4 states, well, they have different favorites. Kansas and Oklahoma prefer jelly beans. Missouri likes foil-wrapped chocolate eggs. You can view every state's favorite and vote on yours on our website, KOIMNewsNow.com. So, Lindsay, I have to ask you, favorite Easter candy?
I like the Cadbury eggs, the cream-filled ones.
Yeah.
Those are probably my favorite ever since I was a kid.
It's a good choice.
What about you?
There are a lot of chocolates. I like chocolates, but kind of a jelly bean lover.
Oh, okay.
Also.
Opposite.
Yeah, the weather real quick.
So we're pretty clear for the next couple of days. Next rain chances not coming in until late Wednesday.
Thanks for joining us. See you at 6. Let's make it a great evening.